turn into a pessimist once you find out your morning glass of milk is half filled with water.
But Mrs. Verma, what about the apartment?
The last tenant was a Bengali, lovely girl. Pity about her going to a watery grave.
You mean she drowned?
Oh no, she just didn't boil her milk. The milkman was adulterating it with dirty water. Poor girl died of jaundice. You know what it boils down to, Mr. Bose? That you must boil your milk. She was so innocent, just like you.
Me? Well, thank you for your honesty. A bit brutal, but wonderfully refreshing, of course. I can see that I have to count on your guidance to know where to get fresh vegetables and clean milk.
Of course. It is so nice to meet a young person like you who understands the value of good advice.
Of course, I love advice. No substitute for cynicism. I mean, experience, in my opinion.
Excellent. You know, you will not find advice in short supply around me. In fact, you don't even have to ask. I will give you pointers from time to time when I feel you need it.
You'll be delighted to have such an involved landlady. I've always wanted to be micromanaged. That is to say, nurtured.
Are you also Bengali?
Yes.
I knew it the moment I saw you.
But Mrs. Verma, I told you my last name was Bose, which can only be a Bengali.
Nonsense. I knew it just by looking at you. You know, I'm very perceptive. Like I can tell you, you like that machi thing.
Machi thing, of course, all Bengalis like fish curry.
Yeah, but I can also tell you, you are a Cape Freakon.
My date of birth is given on my application.
Yes, but I could sense that just by talking to you.
All right, whatever you say, Mrs. Verma.
Mr. Bose, see, anybody can observe the obvious. It is that subtle sign that I pick up really well. For instance, my intuition tells me you read a lot.
I am an editor with a major publishing house. It says so on my visiting card.
Nonsense. I know because I can read you like a book.
In that case, I would say you haven't got much further than its cover.
Another thing I know instinctively is that you grew up in South India.
It's a keen observation unless you ignore the fact that I have a little South Indian accent.
Don't be difficult, young man. You have to learn to give credit where credit is due.
I do, Mrs. Verma, but I'm not sure that it is due in this case.
I see. Well, I suppose you're better about paying your rent in time when it is due than you are about giving credits.
Mrs. Verma, one little thing I can assure you is that I'm very, very punctual.
Good. In that case, you should not have any problem in following the instructions.
Correct.
No woman in this apartment after 7 p.m. and you have to be home by 9.
How can I possibly have a social life in such circumstances?
Home by 9 or it's all over the grapevine. See, Mr. Bose, this is a very conservative neighborhood. You know, if you return from your social active life after 9 p.m., you will be effectively committing social suicide within the family.
Oh, really?
You know what? In fact, no shopkeeper will sell to you. Nobody will talk to you. And that stupid, unprincipled milkman will also shun you.
Isn't that a bit nosy and judgmental of them? I mean, wouldn't they like to get to know me better rather than my schedule before making up their mind for me?
We can't get our neighborhood corrupted by fast young men and women.
Like the periodic table, I suppose it's just the inert elements that are considered noble around here.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
I do. I know it's happening that no one who lives in home by 9 and no one of opposite sex of the 7 colony would ever possibly understand anything about chemistry.
I knew it! You are the sort of young man for whom coming home in time is so old-fashioned and for whom, Mom, the night is always young.
That's awfully specific. You can tell all that by just looking at my face. Wow.
You know what? I'm an excellent judge of characters. Like, I could tell everything about you moment I met you.
If you had said so in the first place, I would have stood silently at the door and held out my hand for the key. Unless you are having second thoughts, can we consider the matter settled before subjecting me further to the 3rd degree?
That's a bit melodramatic. Very well then. Are you willing to follow the instructions that I set out?
Do I have a choice?
No. Not if you want to live here.
Well, then I suppose I have.
Good. Here is the key. You can start moving in tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Bose. Hello?
Ishani, guess what?
What?
Your mother didn't suspect a thing. She said I can have the place from tomorrow. I got the apartment. try to get around the suspicions, I had to tell her that I had my heart set on the apartment. And what I really have my heart set on is her sexy daughter.
Liar! I know you're only dating for the awesome one.
I think I better get used to suspicions. It clearly runs in the family.
Of course it does, absolutely. Talking of suspicion, should I be concerned about your newfound talent for deceit?
Hardly newfound. It's a finally honed art. How else would I have got a girl like you totally out of my league?
Yes, yes. Flattery will get you everywhere. Okay, now see me at the common terrace tomorrow at 10.
Cool. Catch you. Bye-bye.
Mom! You were amazing. Yeah? You're a genius. Mom, does not suspect. Anybody who's married for more than 20 years would know a thing or two about deception. Mom, what? I know he hasn't been entirely honest. But I know his heart is set in the right place. And you know, he's willing to set aside all his principles just to be with me. Isn't that sweet? Yeah. I like him as much as anyone who's knowingly being deceived will like the deceiver. Come on, Ishani. He did not lie to me outright, but rather chose his words carefully. I think I'm going to respect him for that. Can you stop reading the newspaper? Yeah. We never lie to each other, Mom. And I know even after 20 years of marriage, we'll still be completely honest. Ishani, you and your romantic notions. You know, girl, if you're that honest to each other, your marriage won't even last for more than a month. Right. Have it your way. We'll lie to each other incessantly and we'll be completely ignorant. Marital bliss the Verma way, no? Girl, as long as you are truthful to each other, you know, while saying that you love each other, you'll be fine. But you know what? You will have to lie quite often, so as well tell the truth. Just the way I knew your father. Come, sit. Be inquisitive. Be observant. And most important, look at me. Be sensitive. You have time till March next year to figure out whether you want to marry this man or not. Thanks to you, I'll have him every evening all to myself so I can actually decide. And if you decide not to marry him, I will just not renew his lease. You know what? You can tell him about Mrs. Arora's apartment across the town. We will arrange her to rent it out to him. That will be the beginning of an end.